Hi, my name's Jason3KB. First and foremost, I need to thank ANC Games for supplying the game today on the show. Unfortunately, I didn't have the money to get the game, and I just couldn't find the money to get the game, and they literally didn't get it in stock, so I was like, shit, what am I gonna do? Because usually they supply the games. They said, no worries, man, here's the money, just go get it somewhere else, and, you know, we'll take care of it. Holy crap, these guys are amazing. So thank you so much to ANC Games for supplying the review code. Or the review code. I guess it's the review code, which I have to kind of return. Anyways, the physical copy of the game. Actually, it's the game's named after the incident at McDonald's last year that involved me and a raccoon. But anyways, The Order 1886. So thank you so much for tuning into the review. As you can see, I've upgraded my, my classic Nintendo hat with all the characters, and I just filed it down to a few. So thank you to Chop Shop Goods for my new awesome hat and my new Gamester 81 shirt. Link in the underbar to that. You can buy 3KB merch there over blah blah blah. Also, big shout out to Josh, who the microphone of my camera broke. Long story short, without Josh, there is no 3 kilobytes right now. Nothing. He stepped in and was like, "Here, just take this, and we'll figure it out." And Josh, thank you so much for that. It means the world to me. You guys need to thank him in the comments for sure. I know he's going to hate that I shouted him out, but too bad, Joshy boy. So we're going to move on to the review. I took questions on Twitter and Facebook and all that jazz, and I put them, I pounded them, fucked them sideways into the notes here to make sure that you guys had a good time with this review. And I'm not going to keep it long like I usually do, because I feel that this game does not even need a 20-minute review, just like I said in the last one, which turned out to be 20 minutes, and I lied to you guys. But thank you so much for sharing my videos. I'm being honest for a second here. It was my birthday on the 17th, and you guys went crazy on Facebook, like 200 posts. Thank you so much for that. So it means the world to me that you guys hit that likes button, because it makes me see that you guys want more reviews like Kirby and even Scream Ride, which Microsoft has already sent me. It doesn't even come out for a while, but I'm playing it. And now I'm going to be sued because I signed a waiver saying I wasn't playing it. Hector Roman Gonzalez, he asks, how many hours did it take to beat the game? Well, the good news here is it didn't take me 5 hours. It took me 6.5 hours. So most of you out there that were worried about the length of this game, I'm going to tell you exactly how I played it. I played it for review purposes, meaning that I did not go and search out every single object, because then, it would take too much time for me to do that. And I want to get my review right off the bat, right out there, bam, like right in you. And the thing about that is, most of you are going to say, well, then he didn't experience the whole game. Well, no, this isn't the type of game that you're going to be backtracking in. And I know a lot of people ask me about, oh, replay value and all that stuff, but good. Guess what? There's no fucking replay value in this game at all. Absolutely no replay in this game once you've played it once. So that answers a whole bunch of questions there. How long was it? 6 hours, 40 minutes, 45 minutes for me. And unfortunately, by the end of it, here, let me just get into this. Alyssa White, she asked, how was the story? And Derek Rogers asks, I don't care about the actual length of the game, and I know a lot of you probably agree with them. People don't care. It was 6 hours, but was it worth it? So he's asking, it was a simple question, did the studio do enough with the unique setting to engage the player? Or is it just wasted setting and, forced interjection, blah, blah, blah. So he's basically asking me, was that 6.5 hours worth the 6.5 hours I put in to this game that we saw at E3 years ago? Oh, I'm going to get to that at the end. So the story of The Order 1996, no, that's the other story about McDonald's and the incident and the raccoon, but this one is in 1886, set in London, an actual alternate universe where in London there is a group of people called the Order who take care of Lycans. And if you don't know what Lycan is, you obviously haven't seen the Underworld films. But anyways, Lycans are werewolves, so there's half man, half beast werewolves running around there. You've also got, mentions of Jack the Ripper. The setting itself is a lot like Sherlock Holmes, old school. And of course, you've got Nikola Tesla. I can't even say his fucking name right. But you have him in the game playing a Q character, and I'll get to him in a second. So she asks, what's the story? Well, you've got the Order. You're a group of Knights of the Round Table who are set out to basically take care of all of the monsters in London and the actual world, or at least that's what the box says. So maybe in a sequel you'll go somewhere else that isn't London. Let me talk about the settings in this game. You go from all the way on rooftops all the way to basements. Now in the basements, in my notes here, I did make sure that I pointed out something that I came across that I found frustrating would be this should have been a survival horror game, and it's more of like, well, it was heavily influenced obviously by the Uncharted series with the gun battle, but when it's not in the gun battle, I would put it with games like Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, that type of thing, where there's a lot of cutscenes and a lot of simple just walk from point A to B to trigger another cutscene, and you're wondering, why am I walking when they could just put this in the cutscene? Why have I been put back into the interaction? Just put me at the fucking part where I shoot things, because that's where it's fun. In the settings, you get into the basements and you do get a lantern, and the graphics, holy shit, I'll get into that, but it is like the best looking thing I've ever seen on a PS4 ever, period, ever. It's unbelievable. Graphics actually I'm going to talk about in detail, and I keep saying I'll get into that later, but holy shit, it is a fucking amazing looking game. But the problem with this is, it's not used correctly. You're supposed to be scared in these basements with the flashlights, and you're wondering, well, where are the werewolves? Where are the Lycans? Why haven't they popped out? Even a jump scare. Throw something. Like, it's just setting. It's just, oh, I almost knocked over the Milano. Oh, I fucking broke the ship. Anyways, it's just setting, and it's just bland. It's just not happening, and you're wondering, where is the intensity? The Lycans do show up, but not at the right times, and it's misused in this game. It's just, I wonder if they spent too much time on how the game looks and not how it actually plays out. In terms of the gameplay itself, the actual shooting mechanics, those are actually borrowed from Uncharted. So if you've played the Uncharted series or even Left 4 Dead, not Left 4 Dead, fuck me, why am I still stupid English book learning? You know, like, I'm not as good as you at learning English, but I'll make do, because, you know, there ain't nobody like me except me. Let's get back to me not fucking up. Oh, this is going to be hard. As I said, the gameplay is borrowed from Uncharted, but it's also borrowed from The Last of Us. And I would say it's more of The Last of Us than an Uncharted series type game, because there's a lot of walking in this as well. But not even minute, like, not even like a particle. Like, how can I explain how fucking boring this game can be? I'm just telling you now, there's moments of me wanting to murder myself by stabbing myself in the foot and then trying to run away from the knife that has been injected into the floor and cutting my foot open and then taking the knife and the blood and just smearing on. Like, there's so much more I can do. I can go take a shit on the case and close it and send it to Japan and send it back and just... That's funner to do than play some of this game. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like I said, the gameplay is constantly being interrupted by cutscenes, real-time events, button mashing sequences where you have to move a fucking pillar out of the way. I mean, seriously, this is what we're doing in the next generation? I have to fucking jam on the X button to push a giant boulder out of the way? I mean, really? This is what you guys wanted to put in this fucking top AAA title that apparently is like, you know, a revolution. It's the next step in gaming. Well, no, unfortunately, I feel that this is a step back. When you take things that are literally ripped out of other games like Uncharted, that's fine. I totally understand that. But when you have absolutely no passion behind the rest of like the storytelling and mashing that together, you can't take Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls and mash it into Uncharted or The Last of Us and say, we've got a AAA game here. It takes a little bit more finesse, it takes storytelling, and it takes pacing to be able to, you know, move us in the right direction. Because in The Last of Us, guess what? You walk around a fucking shit ton, but it's the story in that game and the gunplay, because it is from Uncharted, that I personally enjoy, but it's the story that drives you to play that game, and you learn about the characters, you love the characters in that game. So again, this is what I would call, from my notes, an interactive film, and unfortunately a lot of people, you know, just hate that type of thing in gaming. How the fuck do they have intercoms on their shoulders? And like, you know, you don't see that much, like, you don't see like computers in the game, and you're wondering, how does that fucking transmitter work if it's, is it radio waves? I guess it is, but it's 1886, and you're wondering, you're asking questions about the tech in this game, which I'm gonna actually say is passable for me. I don't mind the fact that some of it's just fucking unbelievable, and it doesn't exist in that time period, but it's a video game. It's not like, why so serious? Like, you don't fucking lose your mind if you see something that doesn't make sense. It's a video game. So I'm gonna give that a passing point. I mean, some of the weapons in this game are very mediocre. I mean, they're just literally a gun and a shotgun. But then there are some really cool weapons in this game. For instance, there is one that shoots metal particles that are flammable at your enemy. So you basically dust your enemy with this particle effect, and then you hit him with, boom, a flare. And you're not shooting this guy, you're setting them on fire from a distance. And that's a unique weapon. I thought, holy shit, that's awesome. Then you have something like a railgun, which is, it looks like a great idea, and you're like, oh, I can't wait to use that. But once you get in your hands, it's, it's kind of like the railgun from every other game, where you hold the button, you charge it up, and let it go at the right time and hit an enemy. I find those guns extremely frustrating at times, especially when you find it in the game and you think it's going to be badass and it's a bit of a letdown. The balancing in the weapons doesn't feel like the shotgun or the, I'm going to call it the metal fucking particle gun. These things don't feel too different, and I didn't really enjoy using them. And guess what? That is the only part of the game you actually interact with other than walking from point A to B. So when that's the problem in the game, among other things, that's probably, it's called a video game. Like, you're supposed to be playing. It's not video interactive movie. It's a game, and when you don't put your time and effort into the actual gameplay, unfortunately, it takes a major hit from me. Based Vidya, so at Based Vidya on Twitter, he asked, how do you feel about the gameplay itself? What did you like the most? What did you dislike the most about the gameplay? Well, this is a good question, because I'll say, what did I like most in the gameplay? The parts where you get to fucking shoot the Lycans. It's awesome. It's very intense. It definitely, don't get me wrong about this game. There are good things in the game. I mean, it's amazingly designed. That's one thing. But the rest of it, holy shit. So, what did I like most about the game? I like the ideas behind everything, but it's so hard for me to pick one thing that I liked out, I like this the most about the game. Oh, what is it? I honestly can't answer that. I don't know. I don't remember a moment where I was like, I like that the most. I just say I'm just a fucking valley girl underneath my fucking sexy exterior. What'd you dislike the most? I absolutely hate the moments in a game where you're about to go into action, and then you realize, no, this is a cutscene. Okay, I understand that. This is the type of game that's supposed to be telling me story and showing me story. Problem with that would be the characters. I don't give a flying rat's ass about any of the characters, which I'm not even going to get into because it's not worth your time to hear about. Unfortunately, in this game, they don't give you any passion. They don't give you any soul. Although, I do have to say, it's not the character, the actors themselves, because the motion capture in this game and the actual motion capture you see in the game and the voice acting that I'm presuming they both did on a set at the same time and then re-recorded it later like they do in most next-gen games. These actors are fucking amazing. Amazing voice acting and amazing motion capture in this game. Best motion capture I've seen on next-gen, bar none. Nothing beats it. Incredible. But when you give... Here's the problem. When you create something out of shit, it might look amazing. Like a piece of art may be amazing, but you should have made it out of, I don't know, some sort of metal, or you could have sculpted it out of a rock, and people would have appreciated it, but you've made it out of shit. You've made a piece of shit look beautiful. Stephen Firth, can't even say goddamn name, man. Ray, they both, well, a whole bunch of people asked, but I'm giving them shoutouts because I find them sexy. Is the game worth replaying? Are there any collectibles or any reason to go through it twice? Well, if you're going to buy this game, which I highly, 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 highly recommend you do not buy, and I'll get into that at the end, but if you are going to buy this game, then I highly suggest that you spend every second looking at every nook and cranny everywhere. You have to look at everything. And there's one thing that I have to point out about the gameplay that I found extremely annoying as well. When you're walking around a level, little white dots will appear on interactive objects. Now, there's a cool thing where you pick up these objects and inspect them. And the character on screen will turn them around and look at them, and you could find like little hidden things and hit a button and he'll do something with it. That's cool. I like that in a video game. I like that in an adventure game. Unfortunately, I don't like the part where you fucking point it out to me in every goddamn room throughout the whole 6.5 hours. There's no point for me to go searching in this game, and right there is another reason why I just think they've made a horrible mistake in putting their hands out and pulling you along. Okay, here's what you do next, guys. You go to this gate, and then you have to find something in a room, but oh, guess what? Just look around for 5 seconds. There it is. Go pick it up. That's the mission. Oh, chapter is done. What are you guys thinking? Like, I'm gonna have a lot of fun walking over there and looking at how beautiful it is? No. James DeSance, fuck, I can't read your name, so I am sorry about that. I mean, it's not like I went to book learning school, you know what I mean? Like, my vocabulary is basically limited to IMJ. I mean, it's in that exclusive order. It doesn't get harder to read book learning. I mean, nobody like me except me. How happy are you playing this game, he asked. And this is a good question because I had to bring something here. Bring something up. I honestly, it's tough for me to say these things because I'm admitting I'm wrong and I'm an egomaniac, but when I usually play a game for the first time, I can tell usually it's kind of going to be shit. And a lot of people played The Order originally and thought, what's this kind of bland? Like something was missing. And I felt the same way about, you know, The Evil Within when I first played it years before it came out. And I thought, wow, this is the direction. Something is really off here. And I thought, okay, the game's going to come out and it's going to be shit. And that's just how it is. And most of the time, like 90% of the time, my intuition is correct. And the game comes out and they didn't fix the problems that we've asked them to fix when we played the beta and whatnot. In The Order, or sorry, with The Evil Within, it got way better. When I played the actual game, yeah, awesome game at the end of the day, you know, a little bit above average. It was a fun, really fun survival horror game, the way it should have been, like Resident Evil, the original. It was awesome. This, however, did absolutely nothing to save the day. At that point, I think a game like this is really based on its graphics. They spend so much time, and I have to give props to the team who spent so much time creating London in this game, and the character models, and the actual animation, the voice acting, the sound effects. You put it all together, and like I said, it's an amazing, beautiful sculpture made of shit. So I don't know how else to metaphor that one. I mean, I got nothing. I've got nothing for that. I've got nothing. When I buy something that I, you know, slap my hard-earned money down, can it be worth $10 to pick up? To me, absolutely yes. I mean, why doesn't that make sense to people out there that this game is not worth $69, but I would happily pay $19 for it? Why does that not make sense to people? That it's not worth a full price. It's worth $19 to me because you scale the value down. What are you going to get out of it? Well, you're not going to get an amazing story. You're definitely not going to get amazing gameplay. And those two things right there are quite literally the two most important parts of a video game. So when those aren't up to par with other games that are coming out at the same time as this one, what do? Do you just not buy it because it's $69? No, because sometimes people might have opinions and likes and dislikes. They might be their own fucking individuals. They might actually have passion about the architecture in the game. They might want to just play it because it's a creepy game. They like werewolves. What the fuck? Like, how do I know what they want? My job literally is to say I would pay $19 for this game if you have a PS4. It's worth $19 to play with. Like, it's not fucking rocket science. It's a video game worth $19. Overall, I give The Order, 9 out of 10 my ass. I give The Order a 6 out of 10, unfortunately, and I did take notes as I was playing it because I thought the game fails completely to kick it up a notch. It's always hovering around, you know, mediocre and way below average. It's kind of hovering and it's going up at points. When you get on that Zeppelin, you're like, oh, the game's going into action now. This is gonna be awesome. That to me was like one of the best levels in the game, because after that, It's literally just entourage of characters shooting at you for 10 minutes, it feels like. And the last guy might kill you, and oh my god. Guess what? You have to do it again. Oh, and the cutscenes might even show up again. Hooray! I can't wait to watch the same cutscene over and over and over. So many people out there are, you know, torn down the middle over this game. And yes, I'm one of the people that believe that video games should include some actual gameplay because they are called video games. It's not a game that I'm ever wanting to even look at again. I love the setting, but you guys just made the wrong decisions in gameplay, and unfortunately that's how it goes. Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose, and sometimes winning is a tall order. Thank you for looking at me. Thank you so much for watching the review. Next time I'll see you guys in the Kirby and the Magic Paintbrush up his ass game that Nintendo just released. And also, Microsoft sent me, and I'm gonna get in shit for saying I have this, but Scream Ride, you know, the game that we saw at E3 where you create roller coasters made by the Zoo Tycoon people, and you thought it could be good. That's coming out. I can't say if it's good or not yet, but that review is coming out. It's fun. I'm having fun so far.